let's not sugarcoat it. Most people aren't broke because they don't earn. They're broke because every time money shows up, they treat it like it's dying in their hands. Instant spending, tiny rewards, a few "I deserve this" moments. And just like that, they're back to zero. But here's the truth no one tells you. You weren't taught to build wealth, you were taught to survive without asking questions. So now you hustle, you grind, you make more than you used to, but nothing really changes. Just better takeout and a slightly nicer panic. You think you need more income, but what you actually need is to stop living like money's a one-night stand. This isn't about tips. It's about exposing the 6 habits that keep you stuck. Spending like a consumer, hoping like a gambler, and calling it progress. If that hits even a little, stay. Because being broke isn't about how much you earn. It's about what your brain does after the money shows up. Let's fix it. Chapter 1. You treat money like pain. Relief. Let's be real. Most people don't stay broke because they don't earn. They stay broke because the second they get paid, their brain goes, "Time to reward myself for surviving the week I chose to repeat." So they buy a dopamine hit, a comfort meal, a useless upgrade. They don't spend to build, they spend to cope. And here's the hard truth, you're not using money to get ahead, you're using it to feel less behind. That's not wealth building. That's emotional first aid with a price tag. You get $500 ahead? Cool. But then you treat yourself like you just sold a startup. Shoes, gadgets, food, vibes, whatever makes you feel like you're no longer drowning, but you're still underwater. You just put on designer goggles. That money didn't go to a system. It didn't go to skills. It didn't go to anything that gives you more freedom next month. It went to temporary relief. And yeah, I get it. You worked hard. You want to feel good. But if every reward comes at the cost of your progress, then what exactly are you celebrating? Mediocrity? Momentum you just killed? That's consumer thinking. And consumer thinking doesn't care about your freedom, only your feelings. You spend like someone who's already made it, instead of someone who's trying to escape. And the worst part? You convince yourself it's normal, because everyone around you is doing the same. But if normal means paycheck to paycheck with a side of anxiety, why the hell are you defending it? I did this for years. First big client? Boom. $300 on stuff I can't even remember. No reinvestment. No discipline. Just a celebration for doing the bare minimum. And what followed? Silence. Stress. That, "How the hell did I blow that so fast?" feeling. You don't have a money problem. You have a mentality trained to stay broke, but feel rich for 3 days a month. Want out? Start here. Before every purchase, ask, am I buying progress or am I buying the feeling of being less behind? One builds. One buries you. And even if you get that part right, there's still another trap waiting. Because once you're holding your money, you still don't know what to do with it. Chapter 2. You have no system. Just hope in disguise. You know what's wild? Most people think they're trying. But if you actually ask them to explain their system for building wealth, they'd blink, then hit you with something like, "Well, I've been meaning to get serious about my finances this year." Cool. So your strategy is vibes? Let me break it to you gently. If your plan depends on how motivated you feel that week, you don't have a plan. You have a mood swing. Here's what most people actually do. Spend randomly, panic, say, "I need to budget," make a fake plan, follow it for 4 days, see a flash sale, reset. And then they call it figuring it out. No, you're not figuring anything out. You're freestyling poverty with a Canva template. I'm not being mean. I've done it too. I once tracked my income for a month and felt like I was a spreadsheet god. Did it again the next month? Nope. Lost the doc, made excuses, didn't need it. Guess who was broke again by week 3? Motivation got me started, but only a system would have kept me clean. See, a system isn't just rules. It's structure that survives your bad days. It's automation that protects you from your weaker self. It's do this, then this, always this. Even when you're tired, sad, stressed, or bored. And right now, you don't have that. You just have hope in a hoodie. You're telling yourself next month will be different because you emotionally want it to be. But different doesn't happen on accident. Hope isn't a strategy. Systems are how you protect progress from your own brain. You want to know if you're winning? Check this. Where's your money going next month? What happens if you miss a week of income? What are you reinvesting in? What's automated, tracked, and off your shoulders? If you can't answer that in 10 seconds, you're not building anything. You're just reacting, with a smile and a prayer. But even if you build a system, even if it's smart, clean, optimized, there's still one thing that breaks it every time. You get bored, and the second it stops feeling new, you throw it away. That's next. Chapter 3. You quit. The second it stops feeling new. Let's just say it. You don't quit because it's hard. You quit because it stops feeling exciting. The second the dopamine wears off, so does your discipline. You start tracking your money, feel productive, build a system, and for a while, it works. It's working. But then, you get bored. No chaos, no urgency, just repetition. And your brain goes, this again? So you do what most broke people do best. You change the plan, you switch apps, you buy a new book, and you convince yourself this isn't the right system. But in reality, you're not evolving. You're just allergic to stillness. And that's the real reason you can't build anything that lasts. Because here's what no one likes to admit. Success is boring. It's showing up on days that feel identical. It's doing the same things over and over while your ego screams for something shiny. And the wildest part? You're not lazy. You're overstimulated. You've trained your nervous system to associate progress with chaos. So when things get calm and consistent, you assume they're failing. But that stillness you hate? That's what success actually sounds like before it pays off. Ask anyone who's built wealth. It's not a highlight reel. It's routine. It's managing the same damn playbook for months, sometimes years, before the compounding kicks in. And if you keep quitting every time it stops feeling new, you'll never hit the part where it starts working. I've done this 100 times. Built systems, ditched them, chased the better strategy. Rebranded, restructured, rethought. Why? Because consistency felt like a cage. But here's the truth. You're not stuck. You're just uncomfortable doing something that doesn't give you a dopamine hit every 5 seconds. And until you retrain that reflex, you'll never master anything. You'll stay trapped in that cycle. Start, hype, routine, boredom, restart. And every single time, momentum dies with it. But let's say you finally push through. Let's say you stay consistent long enough to start winning. There's still one more trap waiting. One final self-sabotage move that wrecks all your progress. You don't reinvest. You celebrate, you spend the win, and just like that, you fall back. That's next. Chapter 4. You refuse to reinvest, so you keep starting over. Let's talk about your favorite hobby, breaking your own momentum. You grind, you build, you finally catch a win, maybe a new client, a side hustle payday, a bonus check, and instead of multiplying it, you throw a party. You celebrate like you just sold your company, not like someone trying to escape a cycle. I've been working so hard. I deserve this. Boom. There it goes. The money, the progress, the leverage. You didn't invest it. You didn't upgrade your system. You bought a dopamine parade and called it success. Here's the truth. You're not stuck because you never win. You're stuck because you never use your wins to level up. You make $1,000? Awesome. But $800 disappears on nothing. The rest is either panic stashed with no plan or spent out of guilt. What are you left with? A new pair of shoes, a better brunch, and a familiar pit in your stomach. You didn't build anything. You just bought a break from being broke. And yeah, I've done it too. Thought one good month meant I could relax. Thought momentum was a vacation, not the foundation for something bigger. But what always came next? Silence, stress, the anxiety of restarting. Because every time you pull back instead of reinvest, you burn the exact momentum that could have freed you. You're not failing at making money. You're failing at scaling when the pressure fades. And the worst part? You dress it up like self-care. I needed this. I deserve to live a little. But let's call it what it is. Financial self-sabotage in a hoodie. If you had reinvested even 20% of that last win into systems, skills, or stability, you wouldn't be here, starting over. Again, right now, you're stuck in a loop. Building, breaking, rebuilding, collapsing. It's exhausting. But there's a deeper truth you're avoiding. You're scared to reinvest because if it doesn't work, you can't blame your job, the economy, or your past. If you give it your all and it still fails, then what? So instead, you cash out early. You throw just enough effort to feel noble in defeat. At least I tried. But every time you do that, you confirm what's really happening. You're not building wealth. You're just playing the game safe enough to lose slowly. Chapter 5. You outsource all risk, so you never build leverage. Let's be honest. You say you want freedom, but you want it with insurance, PTO, and a manager who tells you what to do on Monday. You want money, but only if someone else signs the check. Only if someone else makes the scary decisions. Only if you don't have to carry the weight when it goes wrong. That's not ambition. That's financial cosplay. You're not building freedom. You're just dressing up obedience with slightly better pay. And the worst part? You've convinced yourself it's smart. I'm just being responsible. You're just scared to be fully responsible. Because the second you carry all the risk, you also carry all the blame. And most people can't handle that. They'd rather be underpaid with a backup plan than free with no one else to blame. So you stay where it's safe. Under someone else's roof, following someone else's system, getting your life dictated by whoever pays you every 2 weeks. But hey, at least you're secure, right? Until the layoffs hit, until the market flips, until your name shows up in a calendar invite called Quick Check-in. Here's the truth no one says out loud. If your life depends on a system you don't own, you're not stable. You're rented, and rent always goes up. I used to play this game too. Said I'd start building when I was ready. Waited for the perfect time, the right partner, the right number in my bank account. Spoiler, it never came. Because safety isn't the starting point. It's the outcome of taking risks and building leverage that pays you back. But if you avoid the risk, you'll never own anything worth keeping. You'll just keep trading time for approval, energy for stability, and ambition for comfort. And then you'll call it a career. But even if you escape that trap, even if you finally take control, there's still one more landmine. You start looking successful, so you stop being accountable. That's what we kill next. Chapter 6. You perform success, but avoid accountability. Let's not play. You don't want growth. You want the aesthetic of growth. You want the vibe, the tweet, the busy energy, the setup, the right notebook, the "I'm working on big things" LinkedIn post. Meanwhile, no plan, no metrics, no real outcome. Just a bunch of productivity noise covering up the fact that you haven't built anything that actually moves. You're not growing. You're performing. You talk about goals, but your calendar is a graveyard. You post about discipline, but your screen time says otherwise. You share success quotes to avoid quoting your own results. And the worst part? You've convinced yourself that talking like a builder is basically the same as being one. It's not. You're not a fraud, but you're definitely hiding. From what? From accountability, from real tracking, from opening your own spreadsheet and admitting, "I've been pretending this is progress," when it's really just noise in a nicer font. I did this too. Rebranded myself 3 times, bought all the right tools, told people I was dialed in. But if you looked behind the scenes, it was chaos. No consistency, no follow-through, just vibes and Google Docs full of ideas I never executed. Because performing success is addictive, but accountability is awkward. When you're really tracking, there's nowhere to hide. The numbers are quiet, cold, and honest. And that's why most people don't scale. Because scaling requires clarity over comfort. And most people choose comfort, then fake clarity on Instagram. So here's the final punch. If you tracked your outcomes as obsessively as you track your self-image, you wouldn't be stuck. But tracking is boring. It's silent, it's personal, and it exposes the gap between what you say and what you actually do. So now you know, it was never just the money, it was how your brain reacted to it. You didn't lose because you weren't smart. You lost because your habits were louder than your plans, because you dressed up chaos in productivity quotes, because every time you started to win, you cashed out instead of doubling down. But here's the truth. Until your mind changes, your results never will. Because even if you fix your budget, build your system, and finally escape, you'll still break under pressure. You'll still panic at stillness. You'll still collapse the second things feel unfamiliar. And that has nothing to do with money. That has everything to do with your mindset. So if you're serious, not just motivated serious, but ready to change how you see pressure forever, then watch this. Build a mind so strong, it scares people. No hacks, no fluff. Just the mental reset that forces you to stop living like collapse is normal. Because once your mind is unbreakable, money becomes a tool, not a trigger.